Hello, my name is Rachel Kimani. I really trust you're doing well wherever you are and that the Lord has kept you well. This is Surrendered, and as usual, we learn every day that we surrender our lives to God because He's capable of holding all our lives. He's more than able to do everything that we commit to Him. It's about relationships, it's about how we can walk light, and it's about really how we can live a surrendered life, yet joyfully. And if you're new here, thank you very much for finding me. Let us encourage one another on the journey. So, when I turned 50, there's so many things I've been learning. There's a lot to give thanks unto the Lord for, and I said, I will bless the Lord all the time. I will let His praises not depart from my lips because He has done me so well. This video of me turning 50, you might wonder, see, everybody turns 50. I turned 50, I am 60, I'm 55. Every age means something to somebody. I'm here because I've been talking to some of my friends when we are 45. Some wondered whether we will go into extinction. And I've said before, the Lord did something very great in my life. He prepared me, and I've been looking forward to turning 50. When it came, well, there's nothing big that happened, but inwardly, I got to understand some things more than when I was younger. I realized there's a difference between when you're younger and when you are getting older. A lot of energy I used on maybe thinking when someone talks, I have a lot to criticize. I see the negative, I see the small things, which are not necessarily very nice. But imagine at 50, I am less critical of others. And intentionally, I choose to filter, I choose to focus, to pick the good out of a conversation. And that happens when experience comes, because even me right now, it means because you're watching me, you have a lot to say about me. I have no control over what you're seeing as I talk to you. And it means because I am looking at other people, I am listening to other people, I give more people also an opportunity to criticize me. And I've realized the more God gives me, there is much that is required from me. There is a lot of patience that is required from me. There's a lot of grace that is required from me, even as I deal with people. And that I cannot do without the Lord. As I continue to grow older in age, spiritually, experientially, and in all areas, relationship-wise, I learn, and I'm learning to be less critical, such that if we are talking, and this is intentionality, maybe it's easier to hear the negative because sometimes we are bashed so much by life and we see nothing good coming from life. So when someone is talking, you're thinking, am I listening to respond? Or am I listening to feel? Am I listening to empathize? Am I listening to get a point? But many times you have found yourself, when someone is talking to you, you actually don't listen to understand. You don't listen to feel. You don't listen to actually get what they're saying. But you listen in order to respond. So when you listen to respond, it means you are not actually listening. You're just hearing. And when you hear, a lot will come to your ears. But when you are keen on listening and you say to yourself, if somebody can pick negatives from me, then I need to be more gracious when someone else is talking. So at 50, I'm less critical. Also, when I was growing up, really, the lesson from my mom, she kept on telling me, when you're young, everyone is wrong. When you're young, you know everything. When you're young, even now, you can be a Kimani. Kimani in my language is a know-it-all. Nobody knows as much as you do. Well, I've noticed, and I know for a fact, there is not one single person who knows everything, who lives forever. You have to be God, and we don't have two gods. There's only one God. He's omniscient, He's omnipotent, He knows our lives, and I'm not that. So I have allowed God to help me. So when we are talking, and I realize I'm uncomfortable with what you're doing, I'm uncomfortable with what you're saying, I am uncomfortable with how you are saying things. Sometimes the Lord enables me to listen to myself, even when I'm talking to others, and to feel others, what they feel when I'm talking to them, because I'm not necessarily pleasant to listen to. Looking at my own blind spots, looking at my own flaws, As I talk, I am in fellowship, I am in friendships, I get to be more gracious because the Lord has been gracious to me. I don't have to talk about everything negative. I don't have to highlight all the things that people do which are wrong. After all, I do those same things on a daily basis. I am a strong believer in relationships, and I believe that even where I'm thriving in any form of relationship, outside my family, in church, at work, wherever, career-wise, I sometimes sit down and say, maybe somebody has been gracious to me. That is why they have accepted me as their friend. When I see how much God is gracious with my friendships, I learn to love. I learn not to criticize. Even when I feel like I want to criticize, I remember how many mistakes I could be making even as I relate with people. But they don't always lash out on me. Even you in your life, when you feel tempted to criticize, and I'm not saying we say yes to everything. We can listen and we see how can we criticize an issue effectively. How can we be critical on an issue with a view to help the person who is involved in that issue? Like, for example, let's say you talk too much of your opinion without allowing someone to really go through what you're saying. And you feel, ouch, if somebody finds a mistake in what I am doing, the only thing I do is I become defensive. I talk back. Just remember, we are human and we are a product of our environments, and we are work in progress. God is always working within us and through us. And then the other thing, I've become less defensive by the grace of God. It's not that I feel comfortable when someone is telling me, hey, by the way you handled that issue, you could have done better. Maybe a while back I'd have said, yeah, but that's the truth. I spoke the truth. Do you know sometimes your truth is so truthful but so stretched that you leave somebody with nothing? Because you told them the truth, but you pressed it so much, you grounded it so much, you wounded them in the process. Talk the truth with grace. And just give some space for someone to tell you, hey, when you did this, when you spoke to me this way, I felt this way. Allow space for being corrected. Allow space for someone to make a mistake in your presence. Some of us, when somebody is there, we seem to want to remind them, do you know whose presence you are in? We only owe in the presence of God. So don't remind people of who you are. And when someone reminds you of who they are, don't mind them. Don't become defensive. Learn to talk less, but when you talk, just talk in a way to help them, even if you're criticizing.